So what we have here is a pretty good setup for a chicken wing that still gets shown in a lot of self-defense curriculum. It shows up, I think, in some other Japanese curriculum as well, like Japanese jiu-jitsu. So it's a pretty intuitive counter in a lot of ways, and that's one of the reasons why it seems to, I don't want to say be universal, but it definitely shows up in more than one place. We also see it in Hollywood all the time. Um, and in this particular professional wrestling setup, we see Thesz going for a Chancery, aka guillotine choke, on Edouard Carpentier. But what Carpentier does is he continues the rotation out in such a way that the hammerlock, aka chicken wing, is exposed, and then he just sort of theatrically cranks it, right? Although in reality, this submission does work. It doesn't really show up in a lot of competitive grappling formats per se, but just anecdotally, I know bouncers who use this technique all the time to escort rowdy people out of bars or nightclubs. It absolutely works. It's just not necessarily something that we see all the time in competitive grappling tournaments in preference to other things that might be a little bit more reliable or use full body leverage, and that doesn't necessarily require both people standing on their feet. But that note of both people standing on their feet while this is executed is exactly the reason why it's included in self-defense curriculums. So the technique does work. It's just not necessarily something you're going to see a ton of in competitive grappling circuits.